I don't know what to make of this information other than he feels that he then recognized these people. He feels certain that he recognized these people in the days following Charlie Kirk's assassination, when a bunch of people are doing Fox News. And obviously then we've got a massive event at a stadium and everybody is in front of the camera eulogizing him. He feels confident that he recognizes these people and that needs to be shared. He's willing to tell a story. Like I said, I have verified. He has sent me so many documents, everything from his like high school graduation certificate to his military documents to the police records to everything that he's speaking about that happened back then, NDAs, judges, things that he's been in court with fighting just to get out his story of what happened 35 years ago when he did the right thing, when he stumbled upon. And boy, does he have some luck. Boy, does he have some luck that he goes from one government conspiracy to what he now believes he stumbled upon, which would be another government conspiracy. Okay. He said that this commander, Neff, by the way, was the commander of force protection. Best he could tell, he did not get the first name. He did get an incident number, which I should have had prepared for you, but I can find it here in our chat because he sent me that too. He said there would have been no record for this if they didn't swarm me as if there was a bomb threat, because now, of course, there is an actual incident report, and he believes that this can be FOIA requested. And that report number, if you will bear with me, I'm going to read that to you all because I think this is going to take really the whole world to investigate. It is 8611-2025-MPC 446. So that is the report number that was given to him by this Captain Commander Neff. And like I said, he has given me I could have just put up documents upon documents, certifying that he was there, certifying that this happened, whether or not his descriptions and whether or not the people that he thinks he actually saw at this base, I don't know. What I will say is that something that I could easily have done was to see whether or not I asked him, did you see Dan Flood? No. Well, that checks out because Dan Flood was with Charlie in Korea. And I am wondering about that. Like, why would you want to go to Japan a day before you have a college campus event, right? You have Charlie on the 5th and on the 6th of September. He is in Korea doing an event. And then on the 7th, he's in Japan and he is on CNN News Japan speaking. And so, yeah, like on the 8th, if that's when he left, maybe he left on the 9th, you got a 12-hour flight back home. And I have questions and somebody out there knows something and I don't know what to say other than this feels right. This feels right to me. This feels to me, as we were speaking about yesterday, about global trafficking and cartels and the government involved in this somehow and implicated in this somehow in ways that we don't quite understand, but that we know involves the highest possible levels of corruption, that this feels right. And like I said, he is not hiding. He is done hiding. He has been silenced for 35 years, running from his life and being gaslit about that in the same way that I am being gaslit about that. I have a very terrifying update for you regarding people that have been trying to assassinate me. And speaking to him was, I guess, like emotionally qualifying because exactly what he's been going through, I've been going through. He didn't have the platform to be able to get his name out. And I said to him, like, do you want to come out? And he said, yeah, I've been silent for 35 years. He said, I watch your stuff and I can't believe that you got this email. And I said to him, the chances of me seeing this were basically slim to none. And it was the first email that was in my box and I just called you. And I feel God moving in that. And despite just the utterly demonic and satanic action and the level of collusion that had to take place for 9/10 to happen, I do also know, as I have always known spiritually, that they wouldn't get away with it. And I think Charlie, whatever vision he had, in which he knew his life would be short, and which he knew that I would not let this go because I somehow feel tied to it. And we're seeing more and more every day that somehow I am tied to this. I think that this is God operating. I really do. I think, bless this man. Thank you so much for your service to this country. I know that he said he would love to meet Ian Carroll, and I guess he's watching his stuff, and I will obviously make that happen and much more in the coming days. I don't expect the feds to reach out. I don't expect them to be interested in this angle or this potential meeting that I think they probably already knew about. I do hope, though, that somebody else saw something and somebody knows the quickest way to FOIA request that stuff. Somebody knows how to get behind this so we can get information. I've given you the dates. I've given you the times. He has given so much more. And I know, I just thank God that I saw that email. We're going to pause there. And if you guys know anything, obviously email us at moretips@candaceowens.com. And we'll get through some sponsors that we are grateful for. Okay, thank you guys who are correcting me in the chat. I am obviously very new to military terms, so you guys are saying it should be E5s and E6s. And he said that these are lieutenant colonels and colonels, and that it was a big brass meeting. He estimates that there were 12 to 13 lieutenant colonels that were in that meeting that he stumbled upon. And yeah, that's that. I'm going to leave that there. On that same note, though, however, I have no words, and I'm going to try to find them here for emails I did not expect to receive yesterday. Right after I spoke with him, I kept continuing on this in my tips inbox. And obviously yesterday we spoke about this Pierre in Scottsdale, and I had mentioned that he had a partner. Pierre Falcone had a partner named Arkady Gaydamak. Didn't expect that to be relevant to anything, but they were both involved in Angola Gate, which was global trafficking at the highest levels of government. But this Arkady Gaydamak didn't show up for his court hearing, and he just was sentenced in absence for trafficking weapons, et cetera, et cetera. I explained to you that he was born in Russia, and then when Israel became a nation, he was first over there. He was also factually, and you can see in this article, a French intelligence agent. Okay. Why am I bringing up Gaydamak? Well, after yesterday's episode, I had asked if anybody had anything or knew anything about, Turning Point potentially working with this Pierre person. I was shocked when a flutter of emails came in from people saying that they believed Gaydamak was living in Nashville, that he moved here sometime in June. Okay. And when I say a flurry of emails that came in, there were 7 people, mostly men, who were certain that that man, aged now, is working in Nashville using the name Jonathan Schmidt. They are certain, at the very least, that he is from Israel and that he is working for a company known as Root Brands under the guise of being a technology officer, and that he has brought in and secured jobs for Ukrainians. And again, this has all transpired since apparently June. Ukrainians who he alleges are running from the war. They say he was brought in by a businessman in town named Clay Thomas, and that one of the Ukrainians that is working with him, his name is Alex Smirnov. Now, I don't know what to say other than I am positively terrified. I don't know who to contact, considering the feds. I've been telling them that there's an assassination attempt in coordination. I have said Israel, I have said France, and now I have dealt with, I have these emails, more credible information. And if it's incorrect, I'm happy to correct it. I reached out to Clay Thomas. I have reached out to Root Brands, and I have requested more information about this Russian-Israeli employee who is using the name Jonathan Schmidt and bringing in Ukrainians. And so instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to publicize this information in the hope that if you are a Tennessean and you live in Franklin and you live in Nashville and you are familiar with Root Brands and you have seen this man, and Skylar, I don't know if we have an aged photo of him, but we should try to find one. Please, first off, you should probably contact the authorities. I certainly will be doing that. I think my husband has already done that. I told him to do that this morning. I have definitively run that to the only office that has responded and I think taken my threat, or has wanted to respond, I should say, to the threat that I've been saying about the French intelligence agencies working with Israel. And that is Tulsi Gabbard's office. I am doing everything that I can, but I am telling you that this is very scary. And if you are in Tennessee, anything, if you know this Jonathan Schmidt and you've seen him around town, if you're a real estate agent, they said he was shopping for a home in the Brentwood area. If you have seen this individual anywhere in Nashville, for the love of God, please send us an email, moretips@CandaceOwens.com. And I am encouraging you to contact your authorities if you are hearing any sob stories from anyone about how they're coming in from Ukraine and that they're fleeing the war, okay? I think you should contact the authorities immediately. We don't need to have a presence of Ukrainians that are quote unquote fleeing the war in Tennessee. And, I trust the Tennesseans to get this done and to pay attention. And I want to say this, by the way, everywhere in America, I've heard there's a major influx of Ukrainians, quote unquote, fleeing that are building up in Washington. That is something to be worried about, you guys. That is something to be very concerned about, okay? Because it is during wars where the most dangerous people are allowed into other countries under the guise of being refugees. That is how they take over other countries. And you need to keep your eyes and your ears peeled for how these Ukrainian, quote unquote, refugees are organizing. I don't think there's a reason for any Israeli intelligence and French intelligence officers to be here in Nashville. So again, if you know something, please email us, moretips@CandaceOwens.com. If you work for the local FBI department, you should have been hearing from us, but if you would like to directly contact us, please email us. We will be looking out. And like I said, Root Brands apparently is who has hired this individual under the guise of working under a technology officer. He's supposed to be a billionaire, so why would he be working at all if this is the correct individual? I'm not buying the name Jonathan Schmidt. I will say that for an Israeli who should be living in Tel Aviv. And I do not believe he's legally allowed to be in this country. So at the very least, perhaps also if you're watching this and you are an ICE agent or a Border Patrol agent, please get involved. I will have more for you hopefully in the coming days, but this is very scary, very scary. And I was always telling the truth about the coordination of an assassination attempt, which involved Israel and French intelligence agencies. Now, on that note, I am obviously taking a lot of personal risk to get out the truth to you guys pertaining to what is happening to Charlie Kirk. One of the easiest things in the world is to be a critic of Candace Owens and a part of the people who do not have the courage to prod this federal narrative. Among those, of course, being Tim Pool, who has now dedicated hours and now is trying to signal to the public that I don't have security, which is untrue, but he is trying to get me harmed. I don't know what I've ever done to Tim Pool to deserve that at all. But Tim Pool has had some very choice words for me, which were trending last night on X. And I would like to share that to you because he thinks it's an act of bravery to attack me in this moment. So take a listen to Tim Pool.
Candace Owens is a f***ing evil scumbag. She is a degenerate. She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you told me? She has no security. She doesn't deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit. She's making everyone else suffer, and all of these conservatives out there that send me these messages have no balls to call her out. More and more people have started doing it. They send me these messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim. I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But don't DM me like I did something for you as you cower, as you cower, scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which he's doing to me right now.
Yeah, that was the...
I'm done with these people.
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two no one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a about her security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at my property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got strangers coming up to my house in Maryland, breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who try to live there. How the am I even supposed to sell this property?
So there's a lot to unpack there. First and foremost, what you are seeing right there is on a display of testosterone. Men that speak to women like this are not tough guys, okay? What you are seeing is actually a display of estrogen. Everything he is doing there is somebody who is not a man, he is not tough, and he would never dare to speak to a man like that, right? People that find that very easy. Secondly, Tim Pool doesn't even have the intellect to understand that we put him in the thumbnail because he accused me in a full episode with Milo Yiannopoulos, which we showed and contextualized, of being someone who benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination. So he thinks he's being accused. No, you accused me of that in like a actually, I think it was 2-hour episode with Milo Yiannopoulos, in which Milo defended me and explained that I am not to blame for the lame excuses that the feds have given us regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. And that if we do need to have some spiritual searching in terms of what the Republican Party has become, that the time for that is now, okay? So this little, and I really like, he's a small person for this, a very small person who is also theatrical, Timothy Smollett, who pretends every year like people are trying to kill him. He's a chronic fence sitter, okay? Pretending like he is braving the wilderness for being what? The 110,000th person who's making a video about Candace Owens in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. He thinks he's pioneering that. Are you out of your mind? It's only the safest thing you can do. What's next? Is he going to make a video and call Kanye West anti-Semitic? Like that's what he's pioneering right now. Oh my gosh, so original. Like, is he going to call Donald Trump evil in 2016? This is the storm that he's braving, is jumping on the side of what everyone else is doing. He is a fundamentally weak man for what he did there. He should apologize. He won't. I don't care what happens to his platform. He's now essentially trying out, because he's under financial pressure. He's trying out for a Zionist to pay him, and they will, okay? They will cut him a check, and I hope it happens for you, Tim. I hope it makes you happy. But to do that to someone who has never done anything to you other than disagree with you about the Charlie Kirk narrative, I have not focused my content on you, and anytime your name has come up, it has been because you have explicitly been attacking me. You are a coward. You are less than a man, okay? You are behaving, your type right there is like a person who's having financial issues and yet decides to go out and put 100K on a poker game. And when he loses and is a further 100K in the hole, comes back home and beats his wife and kids and thinks he's a tough guy. That's how you're acting right now. I'm not your wife. I'm not your kids. Get your affairs in order and stop blaming me, because I'm actually traversing down the path that hasn't been traveled by standing up and saying that something corrupt happened and Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And I don't care about your midterms. Okay, I don't care about your next year midterms and whether or not the Republican Party is united, okay? Because I don't want to stand next to people that would cover up Charlie Kirk's assassination. I hope that I have made my point perfectly clear. Lastly, we'll get into some of your comments. The top comment from yesterday's episode was, I love that quote unquote Fed slop is becoming a mainstream vocabulary word. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Like, since we've been saying that's Fed slop, a lot of people are recognizing Fed slop and deciding that they do not wish to consume it, right? That's not what you want to consume, a Fed slop narrative. The comments from today's episode, I don't know, my phone, my computer's, okay, never mind. It was kind of freezing, but now it's not. Alyssa writes, Candace, you are teaching the world a new form of investigative journalism that it has never seen. You are impacting history in front of our eyes. The power of the collective is unstoppable, and you prove that daily. Sending prayers and love from Montana. I hope that is the reality, because I'm telling you, I trust Tennesseans more than I trust the feds right now. And I'm trusting Tennessean men now to keep their eyes and their ears peeled. And I hope that I can be in safe hands that way, because Cash Patel is just not interested. And it is a struggle for me to believe that they didn't know about this French angle in the Charlie Kirk assassination. They did know. Allison Berry writes, no matter the lies or anyone's business saying about you investigating what happened, I want you to know that we, the people, are riding with you all the way through. We know this corruption is multinational. Thank you for what you do. Yes, and I would like to encourage you guys to also get behind the people who are brave, are equally as brave, right? Ryan Matta has been amazing on X. Melissa, I always tell you about Melissa. Mel is Village Crazy Lady. She does really great work. And I keep wrongly branding her. I'm laughing as a Catholic. A couple weeks ago, she's like, I'm not Catholic. I'm like, I am so sorry. I don't know why I thought she was Catholic. I made that up. Hopefully she will be sued. Okay. That's what I will say to that. And she's doing a really great job, particularly focusing on that faith angle, because I do believe that the faith was the infiltration at Turning Point USA. And it is, by the way, a fact that in recent, in the last year, they even hired former cartel weapons traffickers at Turning Point USA who found God. Okay, so they were trafficking from Poland through to Mexico, weapons and drugs, but then they found God. Unemployment. Like, I don't know what to make of that. Who am I to question somebody saying that they found God? But Arizona is quite a place, and I worry about what happened. And when you get to a certain level in business, they offer you what they say. What is the expression? It's either the silver or the lead. You take the money, or you take the bullet. And I wonder if that was presented to Charlie. I wonder if that's why he was fearful the day before when he messaged people and said, they are going to kill me. Who was he referring to? Do you guys believe that it was a gendered person on top of a rooftop? I don't. I certainly don't. Maybe Tim Pool does. Coralia Montalvo writes, may God be with you and your family, Candace. Keep telling the truth. You have a whole army supporting you. And by the way, like this guy proves, there are a lot of incredible men in the military. It is always at the top where corruption happens. And I hope that you take away from this that we are infiltrated as a nation. We have gangs that are controlling a lot, and that we need to make our community smaller. We need to know who people are in our communities. We need to sense that stranger danger, maybe not be so entertained by a foreign accent and wondering more. We need to become our own little CIA units or DCIA units in our own communities and share information. And yeah, I hope that's what we are pioneering here, because we certainly cannot trust the government to take care of us if they didn't take care of Charlie Kirk. And maybe that's it. Maybe people are terrified. Maybe that's what they've known all along, is that the cartels could have been involved in this. And yeah, that might be it. I don't know. It might be it. I'm just following the facts. Amanda Marias writes, we love you, lady. I'm so sorry you're going through this. You have a whole... Oh, I just read that. I'm sorry. Gracie Lou writes, there is no TPUSA without Charlie. I've never seen such a group of disingenuous groups, the likes of Andrew, Blake, Mikey, Tyler, etc. It's heartbreaking on top of heartbreak. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Continued prayers for you and yours. Thank you so much. Mary Yvette writes, Candace Security Fund. You know what? I actually said to my husband, like, we need to actually build our own security. We do, from the ground up. Like, we just need to build our own security and know who these people are and know everyone. And because this Brian Harpole thing has given me a chill, and this Dan Flood stuff has given me a chill, and maybe we will actually accept that offer and start a fund in the coming days, or, in the coming weeks. I don't know how long it would take to put it together. I will run that to my husband. I actually think that is a good idea. I think we need to, this thing has really scared me, this French intelligence thing, and the lack of commentary from the White House. This thing is really far reaching. The good and the true and the beautiful writes, go Max, Candace. Thank you so much. And this person writes, What do you think Tim Pool's beanie smells like? That is funny. I do not ever want to know the answer to that question. Lastly, P. Fagliano writes, wearing my Candace swag today and getting only nods and smiles, nothing negative. Thank you, Candace, for your courage. Yeah, I think we, the normal people who have decided to stay on the side of light rather than to pledge a gang, we have never been more together. I love it. I love it. I love the left and the right together. And I hate that it had to be Charlie Kirk's assassination that brought us this way, but I'm happy to be here. And I'm not going back to, like, what about the midterm? Shouldn't we just stay united and stand behind and assassinate? Like, you just be quiet. I'm not going back that way. And I hope you guys aren't either. Anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow.